everyone, this is just a tutorial on how I make my line art. So a lot of you guys been wanting to know, how do I make my line art really clean and really smooth and just really sharp in general. So not too long ago I made a really small poll on Page Your World on what's the most tedious slash least favorite part of the drawing process. And the majority of guys said line arting is just one of the tedious things that you guys have ever done, and I guess I could probably see why. I saw a lot of artwork that are usually colored sketches, because line arting is a really hard and a really it's just a really hard process on your drawing process, and not a lot of people do it because it's just, it's just really, they just don't like it and they decide to just skip it. But for me, personally, line arting is, I really like to do the line art because it just makes me feel relaxed, and it's just, I don't really know how to explain it. It just makes me feel good, I guess you could say. But just my line art, I really like to do it, and a lot of you guys been wondering how I do my line art, so let's just get to it. Okay, now this is just a drawing of my character Danny, and here's the line art. As you can see, yeah, the line art, it's super crisp and really sharp and clean and smooth. Well, not really, you can see a few errors here and there, but it's just really smooth and really clean in general, let's say. And this is the kind of line art that I usually do, and it's really yeah, it's just one of my favorite things to do. Personally, if I would probably leave the drawing to just a line art and not color it in, but coloring, I just don't really like to do it because it just kind of ruins the line art for me, and I don't really like to color. Yeah, okay. Now let's do the line art thing. It's just a small sketch of Leaf Fisher from Will for Machines. Now let's get to the small basics. First off, it's the brushes. Now for me, I used 3 brushes. This is my inking brush. It's just my typical to-go brush that I tend to use on, and it's super smooth, and it's just really, I just use it. It's just the main brush of mine I use. Another one is it's a more softer brush that I use, and I usually use it a lot on my more softer drawings, let's say, like for my Danny drawing. Yeah, I use this brush to do the line art here. As you can see, it's sort of like on these corners, it's a little bit faded, like on, like for example, like these areas right here and there, and like this one too. It's just these really small details of the line art kind of fading away. Personally, I really like that because it makes the line art look more smoother and a lot more softer. And another brush I use that I've just recently used is this textured pen. I just really like it because it has that texture and stuff. And I used this on my Fashion Nolan drawing. You can barely see it, but yeah, those jagged edges right there, I use this brush for it. See. But it all depends on your line art, or not the line art, but the brush. So don't be afraid to experiment. Just play around with the brushes and the settings until you can find one that's comfortable. Although, I'll leave my settings on my brushes down in the description below. And here's some of my brushes for reference. My inking brush, my soft brush, or soft inking brush, and my texture brush. These two are my custom made, but the texture brush, I'm pretty sure the texture brush is one of the default brushes that you could find in Clip Studio Paint. And that, yeah, brush settings and brushes. That's all you got. That's all you gotta need. Okay. Another thing is your canvas size. Canvas sizes, I guess, it's one of the most important things that you have to please just be wary about, or not wary, but just notify about, because depending on the size of your canvas, it's going to affect greatly on your line art and or basically just the drawing in general. So the settings I tend to use is 3000 by 200 or 200 the 22,000 and the resolution or the DPI is up to 300. Now this is something you have to note about. The DPI is one of the most important things that you have to know on your canvas settings. A lot of people don't really notice about that, but DPI is one of the most important things that you have to know before you just draw in general. The bigger DPI is, the more crisp and high quality your drawing is going to be. I usually put mine at 300 DPI. That's like the usual printing settings that a lot of printers use to print. And if you the lower the settings, it's not going to look too really bad, I guess, but it also won't get a really good quality. So for example, this drawing of Nolan, which is I kind of shrinked it down a little bit and it's at 72 DPI. It looks okay when you zoomed out, but when you zoom in, yeah, all we got is pixels instead of like crisp, just really crisp drawing of, you know, it's just not gonna look too good. And as you can see, the liner is just really pixely. Now, in this second example, we got, this is the 300 DPI, and this is a lot bigger since I didn't shrink it down. So 300 DPI, it looks okay, or it looks good when you zoom out, and once you zoom in, see? It's all still there. It's not as pixely as it was, but, you know, this is something that you would really want. Make sure that your drawing is just high in DPI so that it won't look as pixely as this one. It's okay, but when you zoom in, yeah, it's all pixels and all that stuff. But for this one, it's all crisp and it's just super high, good in quality. So something that you should note about, right? So remember, 300 DPI, high canvas settings. That's one of the things that will make your liner really good. Okay. And another thing is the program that you use. Here I use Clip Studio Paint. I really like using this program because the stabilization of the brushes and such are really good, and it makes the strokes really smooth. Paint to Side can do that as well. As see, it has a really smooth painting settings as well as for the inking brushes, but you know, just makes everything super smooth. Photoshop, on the other hand, personally, I do not really like to use Photoshop because the stabilization, it really lacks the stabilization, and there's no good settings for you to change that, or at least what I can't find. If you can manage to make line art in Photoshop, kudos, just good job. I congrats, let's say. I respect you. I can never do anything like that in Photoshop. It's super hard. Yeah. But you know, yeah. Preferred programs. Just, you know, many programs. There's no right or wrong program for you to do your line art. I know some people can do it in GIMP and File Alpaca and even Metabang. You know, yeah, it depends on your program. But for this one, I'm just going to mainly focus on Clip Studio Paint. Okay. Back to, now let's get to the actual line art. Now that we got that out of the way. Okay. Let's just use the regular inking brush since that's one of my most preferred brushes to use to ink. And come on. Sorry. This is just, I really like, my program is being a little bit laggy from all these open pictures, but you know. Okay. Now before I get to the actual line art, stabilization. Stabilization is just your best friend. It's your right hand man. It's what makes your liner really smooth and just makes it really smooth and really clean. So stabilization, if you put it to the lowest setting, I guess you will kind of, as you can see, it's a little jagged right there. It makes the liner not as smooth as possible because it doesn't put any lag into the program so that your liner won't look too good. I guess you can pull it off a little bit, but it's really hard to use, and it will be easier if you put it up. So if you put it all the way to the highest setting, then that's what makes your liner a lot smoother. Even if you zoom out from all the way over here, it just makes it a lot more smoother. So yeah, stabilization. The higher the setting, the more smooth they are. Just play around with this until you can find one that's comfortable. I tend to put mine like around the four-fifth of the bars, and like around like from 3 to 4-ish. I tend to lower it down depending on what I'm gonna draw, you know. Okay. Now for the actual line art. Now how I usually do it, I just usually use a really thick brush because I really like to do thick lines. So make sure that you do a really quick strokes, because if you just slowly do it as what you do in regular traditional art, it's not gonna look too good. As you can see, it's just jaggy. Even if you put a stabilization up, it's not really that good. I guess you can kind of pull it off with doing that, but then again, make sure that your strokes are really fast and not too slow. So make sure that they're super fast, which also means putting your hand on Control Z. You'll be doing that a lot when making the line art. So let me just put the settings down a little bit, and let me just get this good stroke. Okay, let's just say that's a really good stroke. It is probably, but you know. Okay, now let's get this other one. Okay, let's just say that's a pretty good stroke there. Okay, now we got this, but oh no, they're overlapping. But that's all right. It's okay. Make them overlap. That's the good part. Now we're just gonna grab the eraser, or if you're on Eclipse Studio Paint, you should see this transparent box right here, and it will act like an eraser, but with the same settings of the brush. So you just have to erase that and make it a lot more sharper. This technique is called tapering. It's what basically you just smooth out the edges of the line art and just makes it more sharp and a lot more smoother. So we just had to fix it up a little bit. Okay, let's just pretend that that's a pretty good stroke there, even though it might not. Also, layers. It's okay to use multiple layers, especially when doing this kind of line art. Now let's put a second layer. Like as you can see, this hair is kind of overlapping with the top one, so we could just using a different layer, we'll just have to draw that in. Oh yeah, also I should probably note that. Make sure you vary the width of your lines. Make sure that there's various big lines, various small lines, so it'll look a lot more better and such. So let's go for a very small brush, and let's just try to draw it in. There. And let's just get this as well. There we go. Now we just gotta taper this. Oopsies. Okay. So I taper that in. Let me zoom in a little bit. Come on. Okay, let's just say this is a pretty good line, even though it's not. Okay, now we got that. Now we just had to go to the other layer where the big hair is and just erase this. And there you go. That's the line art, I guess. And this is optional. I don't really do it often, but if you want to make your line art even better, you just have to kind of fill in the lines a little bit, and it makes it a lot more better and more bolder. So and it makes it a lot more smoother. So like let's see, like these two strokes, they're kind of overlapping each other. You'll just have to kind of fill it in a little bit and just smooth that out. And get this. There we go. And now for this one, let's see if there's any other. Let's say we got this line, so let's just draw this one. Okay, let's just say that's a good line. Like if you see these two corners right here, you can just kind of make this one thicker as well. Just make in some places, just if these two lines overlap, just kind of fill it in a little bit so that it'll look more appealing, and it just makes it a lot better. There we go. And now we just had to Also do that with the taper lines as well, so that it will, at the ends of the lines. Let's just erase that. Come on. There we go. Okay, that does not look good, but let's just pretend it is. So this is what the liner usually looks like. This is how I usually do my liner. It just looks all smooth and such, you know. And the complete one will usually look like this. This is something that it will look like. So, oh no, I moved the canvas a little bit. Let me just, what's that? Come on. Okay, let's just say that the sketches lined up with the liner, but you know, so this is my usual liner of making this. So as you can see, like the width of, or the thickness of the ink is kind of, or the brush is just, you know, it varies a lot. There's some thick lines, there's some filled in corners and such. If you want to go for thick line, I mean, if you don't like doing thick lines, you can also do thin lines. But personally, I find that really hard to do. But you know, if you could pull it off, you could just do the same method as I can do here. See, like these corners right here, and you know. So if you like to do thin lines, then that's alright. Let's just move the sketch. It looks something like that. And for my usual, and if you take it out, this is how the complete process of the liner will look like. Another suggestion: do not use black as the main color for your line art. It depends on, well, it depends on the drawing itself. Like if it's a black and white drawing, then that's a different story. But if, in general, if you want to make the line art look a lot more appealing, just color it in. So let's say like we make the line art, make it like around like usually a dark color of, let's go for a dark red. If you're gonna make it a dark, or it's kind of the grayish color, but it makes the drawing a lot better. And let's get it more redder. There we go. So this is a dark reddish color, as you can see here. And for my other drawings, I just, like you see, like there's some orange right here, and for the skin tone it's red, and for the clothing it's like grayish, kind of grayish, dark gray sort of. And for this one, I use a lot of colors on this one. Like for the varsity jacket, parts of it are blue, parts of it are like red, and like the jeans are, yeah, kind of yellowish, and the shoes and the shoelaces and the socks, yeah. Make sure that you vary your color of the drawing. So as you can see here, the fashion Nolan, as you can see, the color really varies on how you color the line art, sort of a thing. Now I'm just gonna finish doing the line art for this sketch right here. So I'm just gonna speed up the process a bit while you guys just sit back and just enjoy what I did. Okay, now we got the line art is done. I also added some cross-hatching shading on it because that's how special it is. This is without it, and this is with. I didn't do the glasses on because that would take a long time to do, but you know. So this is the final product. This is how I usually do my line art and all that. I really hope this helped you guys, even though I think I might have under-explained some things. And if I happen to do and you have questions, well, feel free to comment below about the questions that you have. Also, do you think if I should make more tutorials of these? If you guys think so, then I guess I could make some more if you guys want to suggest any other things I should talk about. Otherwise, you know, hopefully this tutorial helps you, and you know. Alright, this is the end of the tutorial. Hope you guys enjoy it.